if we go back throughout the 11 years that I have been doing this, I could at least say probably $1 million have been spent.
Oh,
I remember 2022, I spent $150,000. And you're funding these people. And what they're
yeah.
doing is, even if you do get some relief, let's just say you get a
Mm,
little bit of relief, what they do is they'll end up cursing you, and then you'll end up having to go back to them. They were not from here, they were from overseas. And this person actually ended up being married and having a whole family. They ended up brainwashing me, and slowly they started taking money from me. I was afraid that they were going to actually put my family at risk at a certain point, but it was slowly, and they ended up falling in love with me and doing magic to basically torture me at the end. And I got very comfortable with this person, and until this day I'm still facing that.
it can damage your emotional, your mental well-being, your
And my
relationships.
financial well-being. And it
Mm,
also destroyed my life at home because I
yeah.
lost that trust and that relationship with certain people in my house, and I lost some friendships from that.
I
And
mean,
that
look,
person knew exactly what they were doing. And I got comfortable. And first, it started with a phone call once a week. Then it started with a phone call twice a week. Then it started with a phone call 3 times a week. And then it was like 4 times a day. And then it was like staying on the phone all day and night. And then it's
wow,
that was brainwash. And then
yeah.
they start using those entities, and demonic spirits can possess you. They have your mother's name, they have your date of birth, they have your information, they have you in their hands.
Yeah,
It's a form of blackmail,
yeah,
and you
definitely.
live in that fear. It's done. So it's better to avoid these situations overall. It's just you're putting yourself basically in a worse situation than you are already in. You're just digging
100%.
yourself in a deeper hole.
Greetings to you, dear friends, fans, and listeners from beyond time and space borders. And welcome to a very special interview today, where we will dive deep into the truth behind the spiritual and magical industry. We're all familiar with the stories of false promises and scams that prey on vulnerable individuals searching for genuine guidance. But today, we're going to hear from someone who has been through the ups and downs of this journey, someone who has experienced both the misleading tactics of scammers and the transformative power of real spiritual assistance. Meet Layla. Her journey has been filled with moments of doubt, uncertainty, and frustration as she sought help from various practitioners, only to be met with disappointment and empty promises. But after years of feeling let down, Layla found the genuine support that she needed, and her life has been forever changed. In this interview, Layla will share her story of navigating a world full of deception and how finding the right spiritual guidance helped her finally unlock real results. She'll talk about the emotional toll of scams, the red flags to watch out for, and the transformation she experienced after working with someone who genuinely cares about her journey. If you've ever felt lost, frustrated, or unsure of who to trust in this spiritual world, this interview is for you. Stay with us as Layla reveals her personal insights, lessons learned, and why she's now confident in the work that truly delivers. You won't want to miss her powerful story. So, first of all, thank you, Layla, for being with us today to share your story. Could you start by introducing yourself briefly, telling us what initially brought you to seek spiritual or magical help? What was the worst moment that made you say, you know what, I'm going to seek spiritual help here?
Hi, Reda. Thank you for having me today. I truly appreciate it. Our journey has been a very interesting one, to say the least. We all know that spirituality is definitely a complex thing of its own course, and I've been through a lot myself, and I'm sure many have around the world. So I have I have definitely been through my own stories and battles and experiences that have brought me to where I am today. And sharing that definitely, I hope, will open the eyes of many around the world that are seeking it. When it came to the worst point, it was definitely where I felt like it was either I do something about this or my life was going to be over. And getting scammed out of money and being promised so many opportunities that I was going to get better, but I was just getting worse. I knew that something was wrong, getting sick every day, and just, I was just going through such dark cycles every day and losing myself, and everything was going against me. So I figured, what if I don't do something, and if I don't take a different course of action, and if I don't pray, if I don't seek the light, I'm never going to get out of this. So definitely coming to that point of, if I don't seek God and pray for the right answer, which guided me towards you, honestly. And we can share how that ended up happening. When I found you during our holy month, that was a beautiful moment. I think that was genuinely my saving grace, that moment of light, because I was just going through darkness and trying to find loopholes of quick results and going to these fortune tellers and psychics, and everything was just going dark, and I was just getting worse and worse. So definitely, I felt like my life was over. I think that's where I felt that I needed to find a different way.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean when you say if I don't do something. So you come to that point that you have no other choice but to seek the spiritual and the magical help. So
Absolutely.
a lot of people who come into this field, like I always say, it's out of necessity. It's not because, oh, I have an issue in my life, and the first thing I think about is going to hire a spiritual practitioner.
Yeah.
People usually, when they're suffering, and like you said, you're just getting worse and everything's going against you, you're bombarded with problems from different sides and facing challenges on multiple fronts, that then you're like, I've exhausted all other resources, let me look into this. This is particularly pertinent to what we're talking about here, because most people who come into this field, they're in the same situation. They have tried everything and now it's last resort. And on the other side of that, there's a lot of scammers, a lot of
Absolutely.
dishonest practitioners who know that, and they are waiting for people in that position where arms wide open.
Yeah, because people
So
become prey. They become prey for
exactly.
these people.
Exactly. Yeah. Hence why I said vulnerable individuals. And this is really the case here for you and many others. And while we're talking about others, before we dive in more deeply, could you share why you felt it was so important to discuss your experience in this interview? Because you're not doing it for me, you're not doing it for yourself, but you're really doing it for others. So that's why I'm asking you this question.
So I basically felt that when it came to my situation personally, and this is why I want other people to be aware of this, it was also like I was about to lose my house. I was about to lose everything because I was going
Mm,
into poverty. These people were scamming me out of ridiculous money, and I was
mm,
falling for it. You're going to die if you don't do this, and if you don't remove this, and if you don't do this, you're going to lose the love of your life. If you don't do this spell, or if you don't do that, these people are very manipulative when you're in these situations. And because you are in such a vulnerable state, you believe it. And then you're going to start looking for ways to make these things happen because you're going to do whatever it takes to get better or to better that type of situation. And then when I came to you, you never did that. So that's where I ended up opening my eyes. And I want people to understand. And it's not just, I'm not just doing this to praise you. I'm doing this
mm.
because I'm trying to let people know everybody has a different culture. Every magic is different, right? And every
Yeah.
spirituality is practiced different. Like I
Hmm.
come from an European background, and people practice in a different way. So being in this situation and being so desperate, I went to doctors. I went to different, like, how do I say this? I went to different resorts of trying to get help, but it was like
Yeah.
I was losing everything. I was
Yeah.
losing everything to the point where I didn't have money to pay my bills.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
I
I was
can't.
getting deadly sick. Stress. It's just
And
I
and
don't want
and you
people to go
know,
through this.
and when you're saying you tried all resorts for help, you already spent a lot of time, money, and energy seeking those resorts. So when you come to this field, you're already like on your last legs, and these people, instead of helping you, they make you even worse. And something that kept coming back is the reasons that they were telling you that you should do this or should do that. These motivations are always fear based, right? There's no
Yes.
positivity. If you
Yes.
don't do this work with me, you are going to lose your loved one. If you don't do this work with me, you are going to die. So it's basically threats.
Yes.
And if you're in a very vulnerable state already, and someone is just threatening you that if you don't, it's very easy to go on a slippery slope, and you're already seeing a lot of issues. You're already in that fear mentality. It just makes it more and more. And that's why your judgment can be easily clouded, right? That you don't even
Absolutely.
see the logic or the reason or the necessity behind what you're doing. You're just going through the motions and doing what these people suggest and recommend in the hopes that you will see an improvement in your life one way or another. However, as you have seen for yourself, months, many rituals down the line, many times even years, thousands of dollars vanished, right?
Yeah.
You can't even say
Yeah.
thrown in the trash because it's vanished. The money
Right.
just goes and you
Right.
don't know where it's going. You don't know what they're doing with it. And you don't see, you have nothing to show for it. And then you see that you're not even better. You're worse than when you started with them. This is something that people have to look out for. I want to highlight it. You, like, as I always say, your quality of life is your only measuring stick. If you're not getting better and better and better progressively, not overnight, but progressively, right, and steadily, there's something wrong here. There's
Yeah.
something
And
wrong.
you're funding these people. You're funding these
Exactly.
people, and what they're
Yeah.
doing is, even if you do get some relief, let's just say you get a
Mm.
little bit of relief, what they do is they'll end up cursing you,
Yeah.
and then you'll end up having to go back to them,
Yeah.
and then they'll curse you again, and it's a non-ending cycle because they have your mother's name, they have your date of birth, they have your information, they have you in their hands. It's a form of blackmail,
Yeah.
and you live
Definitely.
in that fear. It's done. So it's better to avoid these situations overall. It's just you're putting yourself basically in a worse situation than you are already in. You're just digging
100%.
yourself in a deeper hole. And it's not worth
100%.
it. It's just this field is very, I'm not going to speak for everyone because there are good people in this world, but majority from what I have experienced, and I have been experiencing this for at least 11 years now. So I can definitely speak on it. And it's unfortunate that I could say this, but you are just being in a field, I'm sorry, I should say a part of a field that is very dirty.
Oh, yeah. I cannot say that any more emphatically or emphasize it any more than what you already did. And something that I want to attract the listeners' attention to is Layla here. She hasn't been involved for 11 weeks, 11 months. This is 11 years. This is a bachelor's degree worth of education because it's not every single day. But she has been around this field. She has seen different people, and this is not directed at any specific group. She has dealt with practitioners worldwide from all faiths, all walks of life, all
Yes.
creeds, and she is there to tell her story because although people are different, could be from Asia, Africa,
Yes.
America, there are patterns that keep repeating with these scammers. And that's what we are here to expose so that when you are going into a situation, you can look out for them and maybe avoid wasting time, money, energy, whatever, and even your sanity. Okay. Because
Absolutely.
they are going to drive you nuts. I remember that, and it's like you were part of a network, right? Because you started dealing with some people, then you have other practitioners reaching out
Yeah.
to you out of the blue,
Yeah.
and people who are asking you for sums of money. And
Yes.
I think at some point you even had to change your phone number to avoid being
Hmm.
contacted by these.
I did.
It's literally like spam, right? It's not even
Yeah.
just scamming anymore, but it's spiritual spamming at this point.
Yeah. They started actually giving my number out, and it was becoming a problem that I literally had to change my number. And I was
Mm,
scared for my life. I was scared for my life because I was so like threatened. Like I felt like my life was more on the line than it was originally when I was going through these spiritual issues. We had done our work together, and
mm,
by the grace of God Almighty and everything that we did, everything got better.
yeah.
And with you, it's always straightforward. This is what we're going to do. And everything always ends up being better. But with
Mm.
them, it's, oh, this new problem came. Send me $50 million. Or this is going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And in these
So
exorbitant amounts, there's these exorbitant amounts.
yeah, this is
And
not me $100. This is send me $50,000 to like, yeah,
wow.
to sacrifice this and do this. And I'm telling you, I have dealt with practitioners from different types of magic. We're not talking just voodoo and candle magic and Islamic magic. And I can speak on every sort of magic. This is not just, it's insane to me. It's insane to me. The things that I have seen and experienced, and I'm telling you, 99.9% of these people are scammers. If someone is a true practitioner, they'll be able to let you know spiritually what is going on with you. They'll be able to diagnose you. They'll give you a price for their work. They'll tell you if they'll be able to do it or not, and if it works, and if it doesn't. Because we don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know how long it's going to take. Spirits work on their time, not on our time.
Yeah.
End of
Yeah.
discussion.
100%. 100%. And this is something that I want to highlight here because a lot of people, they're like, I worked with African practitioners and a lot of them were scammers. And then I worked with
I've
Asian
worked with them
practitioners.
too.
Exactly. And then I work with Asian practitioners, then I'll work with Arabic practitioners, and then I'll work with Caucasian Western practitioners, and I'll work with Latin practitioners. And then we think that it's maybe an ethnicity thing or maybe a religious thing. But no,
No,
actually, it
no, it's
doesn't really
not.
matter.
It
It's
doesn't matter.
international. Exactly. And you did mention the fear mongering, right? Like and the psychological manipulation, the threats.
Yes.
Are there any other tactics that you see a little bit more subtle, but even more vicious in the way that they get you to trust them initially? Something that comes up to mind that you want the listeners to pay close attention to.
Sometimes they'll also try to befriend you. They'll start to talk to you more and try to get you comfortable. And then sometimes they won't go for it right away. They'll try to get
Mm,
you comfortable. They'll try to befriend you. There was a situation I was in, and I know you know which one I'm talking about, where I got close with an individual.
mm,
They were not from here, they were from overseas. And this person actually ended up being married and having a whole family. And
wow.
they ended up brainwashing me, and slowly they started taking money from me. And I was afraid that they were going to actually put my family at risk at a certain point, but it was slowly, and they ended up falling in love with me and doing magic to basically torture me at the end. And I got very comfortable with this person, and until this day I'm still facing that
Yeah.
to some extent, because
Yeah.
it might not be from the magic, but it's from the psychological effects of it.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely. Because it does
sometimes
do
those
that.
things, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It can bear an impact. It can damage your emotional, your mental well-being, your
And
relationships.
my financial well-being. And it
Mm,
also destroyed my life at home,
yeah.
because I
Yeah.
lost that trust and that relationship with certain people in my house, and I lost some friendships from that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
mean,
that
look.
person knew exactly what they were doing. And I got comfortable. And first, it started with a phone call once a week. Then it started with a phone call twice a week. Then it started with a phone call 3 times a week. And then it was like 4 times a day, and then it was like staying on the phone all day and night, and then it's you don't yeah,
Wow.
but that was brainwash. And then
Yeah.
they start using those entities, and demonic spirits can possess you.
Yeah,
And that's
definitely.
forceful magic, right? That's where you're forced and you
And
don't realize it.
look, the thing that happens is someone might be listening to this when we hear about those people who get scammed over the internet, right? Like by Nigerian princes or someone who pretends to love
Yeah,
them or whatever the case may be. And we're
right.
always wondering, like, how does it happen? How can you be so innocent and so believing and so trusting that this happens to you? Your case, Layla, is different. Why? Because this person is covertly using magic on you at the same time. Okay. So what
Right.
happens is that you think you're doing everything out of your own free will. You think you are getting close
Yes,
and more
yes,
trusting and more
yes.
open with this person in a natural, progressive way, as it would happen with any human being. But what is
Right.
happening is that you are slowly being influenced and coaxed until it becomes outright possession because you you were involved with this individual, then you came back to me, you're like, Reda, I'm doing things that they don't make any sense. They're not logical. I'm actually going to hurt myself and the people that I love. I need your help. And we discovered that this person who is, let us clarify, is a Muslim.
Yes.
Okay. And they have all the outward signs of piety and righteousness. And they pretend to be a healer and an
Yes.
practitioner. So this is particularly Machiavellic because you pose as the solution to the same problem you're creating. So this person, you go to them, you think
Yes.
they have a problem, but they're actually the source of your problem. So they curse you,
Yes.
so you need the healing from them. They will stop you from going to sleep, so you go and hire them to solve that issue.
Absolutely.
Issue after issue, because that is for them way more effective to get people to buy their services than to just helping them. So
Hmm.
you're basically coercing people into doing that. So I want to highlight for the listeners here, this is not someone who is dumb. Okay, this is not someone who is not discerning. I've been collaborating and working with Layla for years now, and I can attest to her mental presence, her wisdom, her intelligence. This is someone who can see things coming from a certain distance. And she didn't see this one because there was
Right.
that filter, that demonic filter who was basically slowly but surely gaining ground and influence over her entire life.
Right.
And this is the issue here. This is the issue because when these people, they're especially, I cannot say this enough. You go to someone and then you're giving them your information. And that's
Mhm.
why I say to people, a lot of people are just scammers outright. There is a very small percentage who are actually competent. And what they're going to do, they're going to work on you instead of for you. So as soon as they had that information, oh yeah, give me more money. So then it starts with an innocent thought that is repetitive, but it becomes intrusive to the point where you're like, oh, I can't wait. I miss him or her. I just want to talk to them on the phone. I just want to hear what they have to say. Oh, they understand me so much. You see, now that you have that filter that has been lifted, whereas before you had no idea, I think you can clearly see it for yourself, Layla.
Absolutely. And I couldn't, and even you yourself knew something was wrong at that time. I remember when I had called you and I was
Mm,
crying,
mm,
and you were like, because I remember I disappeared for like it was like maybe 3, 4 months, and we didn't speak. And you were like, I was worried about you because usually we're always in contact.
yeah,
And you were like, I know something is wrong because you know who I am,
yeah.
and you knew something was wrong. And I'm like, I'm in trouble and I need your help. And that
I
was
mean,
the one moment that I knew I had lost sight. So it was also a very big learning curve for myself.
yeah.
And I think that was the moment where I said, this is genuinely my final straw with these people. Like, I hope that nobody makes this mistake again around me for myself. And I hope
Mm.
the world knows that these type of people exist. And that's why I'm happy that we're doing this today. And I hope this reaches as many people as possible.
For sure. And like, really, this is the main reason. Like you said, it's not to praise me or it's not to, oh,
Right.
look at what happened to me. That's
Yeah.
not what we're here for. Is that this is one example, one case. But for someone who's been involved for 11 years in this field, I think we could spend the whole day and tomorrow talking about this, and we
Right.
haven't even
Right.
scratched the surface. Because when you learn that someone scammed you in a certain way, you are not going to repeatedly get scammed in the same way. So every single interaction, every single time that you meet someone new, it's a new learning experience and you learn more and more. And then you start to realize just how creative they are, just how creatively manipulative they are. And this is when you see that these people who, again, most of them, they look like good people. They know just what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and it's all with the sole purpose of emptying your bank account. So I want to ask you, going from these experiences from one to another, did that make you hesitant to continue seeking help? And what are the way that it affected you? You mentioned that it came between your relationships with loved ones and people in your household. How does that affect you if you want to tell people who might be going through the same situation right now, just to open their eyes? Hey, oh my God, this is happening to me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do I? Okay, so I still do believe in spirituality because to me, I going through the experiences I did, it's impossible not to.
Mm,
And even because of my own beliefs and religion and everything, I do
mm-hmm,
really believe in spirituality. I believe in God, and that's a big part of my religion. So I definitely know that it's there, and I know energy exists, and there's obviously good forces and bad. Do I think I would continue with it? Absolutely, but not in the ways that I have. I would obviously work with you because I only had good experiences with you. But would I go with people that I have had bad experiences with? No, because I would never go through those shortcuts or going through those, oh, I'm going to get fast results. I'm going to go through this witchcraft and black magic and red, blue, orange, those types of things I would not do.
all
Just
colors of the
because,
rainbow.
yeah, all colors of the rainbow. It might work for some people, but personally, it didn't work for me. And there are maybe really good practitioners in the world that could do that. But would I spend money and go through those things again for my own mental health and well being? No. Do I think that exists? I don't believe it because just again, from my own experiences. Do I think that, see, for those that might be going through what I did, like at home and my relationships and everything that I have went through, honestly, it wasn't worth it because I have lost a lot of things in this process and that has hurt me mentally, emotionally, and it's very hard to restore those things. I also lost someone that I love dearly through this process,
Mm,
and that has weighed on me deeply for a long time now. And going through that battle alone and dealing with the people behind that has been very hard for me because sometimes you don't want to put yourself through certain battles because it's not worth your health and the things that you're going to experience through that because
yeah.
sometimes certain battles aren't worth it and you have to pick and choose your battles. Is this person worth it? Is this worth it? What's behind that person? Is it worth it? Because everything is like a spiritual war
Yeah.
in reality. You don't know
Yeah.
what demons are behind this. You don't know
Oh, yeah.
what jinns or I don't know what people like go refer to these entities as. We can say entities.
Absolutely.
We don't know what's behind everyone. I might be cleaned, but
Yeah.
we don't know, for example, what my mom might have or my brother might have or
Oh,
my
yeah.
sister might have or what others might have or like my boyfriend or so on and so forth. We don't know
Mm-hmm.
what other people have, and that can impact our relationships as well. So it's sometimes better to not deal with certain things. Going forward, I just feel like certain things were not worth it. Do I feel like certain
Mm,
things were worth it? Do I think I'd still fight for certain things? Absolutely. Because I have a certain belief that don't give up on something that you do believe in, because
yeah.
I just can't accept failure or loss. It's just something within myself. But everybody has their limits. But do I think your mental health is worth destroying? No. And it has impacted my financial situation, my relationships at home, my friendships, everything just got really messed up. But you know what? Maybe also things were meant by God. Maybe this is also a new beginning for me, to have opened my eyes, to have gone through this at the time that I did, so that for my future, I know better, so that I could share my experience with other people so that they could avoid what I went through. Does that make sense?
Oh, it definitely makes total sense for me. And to clarify for the listeners how this can translate in a tangible and practical way in your life. So let's say you're getting close to this person, right? Like they're using the Trojan horse kind of approach, which is they're pretending to be your friend, while
Mm-hmm.
behind closed doors, they're doing magic on you to influence you. Now, let's say
Mm-hmm.
that you hire this person to make you closer with a certain special someone. They know that this is important to you. So when the things don't go their way, what are they going to do? They're going to sabotage that work. They're going to drive that person away, right? They're going to use it as leverage against you. That's the first way that it could happen, because they're using the information. Like you said, they have your personal information, they have that person's
Right.
information. It's very easy
Right.
for them to do. And destructive work, as I always say, is much, much easier to manifest, to work,
Right.
than
Right.
constructive and
Right.
positive work. So that
Right.
is one way that they can do it. And then afterwards, let's say when you're talking about the people in your home, if you're talking to them and then you mention the name of a sibling or a cousin or a friend or this or that, and knowing that this is your sibling, they know their mother's name because they already have your mother's name. And then by some circumstance, they know also their approximate date of birth, or that they can find their
Right.
profile on social media and take their picture. Then they can start to sow dissension and tension between you two, ultimately destroying the relationship and the strong bond that you have. So these are just some examples of how it's not easy, but again, as we saw, these people are very resourceful, they're very creative, and they also have their own experiences, because let's not forget, you're not the only one. You're
Right.
not the only one. But something I want to attract people's attention to, and of course, like I said, some of these things, they're very evident for me. You might have not noticed them because you are basically under their hold and their influence and the magic they're doing on you. But if someone's spending all day, every day with you on the phone, like how many clients do they have? What life do they have? And then you discover that they have children and a family, how ethical or moral are they? That's one plus one. The other thing is you have to be very careful with people who are just gonna say whatever you want to hear. Oh, don't worry. They're just gonna promise you that. They're just gonna, yeah, no worries, don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it. How can you be so sure? And that starts to be, even though the person can be competent, but it starts to be arrogant. I can make whatever happen in the world. No, there's always God, the Almighty Creator, who controls everything, and everything that happens is by His will and permission. We cannot go beyond that. So this is something to take into account. It's not like this world is not open for the taking, that whatever you want, you can have it, and your desire is going to come to you and this and that. If that was the world that we live in, first of all, everyone would be involved in magic. And then second of all, it would have been destroyed a long time ago, because there's not just good people. And the last point, but not least, which is extremely important, is when you said you don't know what each person has. You don't know who are the demons, the spirits, the entities that are attached to them. We go through life and we accumulate attachments, believe it or not.
Yes.
They
Yes.
accumulate, right?
Yes.
So your best friend can have attachments. And then when you get healed, you get rid of the demonic
Mm-hmm.
entities that are influencing your life. You don't get along so much. You
No.
don't get along so much no more. And that will drive them away, because that goes against their agenda. Oh, this person has gotten healed. This means they are one person removed from getting healed. So we need to break this relationship.
So
Like you
it's
said,
so amazing how those things work.
absolutely. It's behind the scenes. Like I said, it's when you lift up the curtain. If you go to see a show, right? You go to see a theater show, and then someone is flying on the front stage, but there's someone pulling a rope for them to fly on the front stage. So there's the backstage crew. The backstage crew is the spirits. And this is what we're dealing with here. Okay. So in my conservative estimate is that 60 to 70% of people in society nowadays have some kind of nefarious attachment. And this is clear for anyone to see. It's very clear. And people, when they go through the purge, like yourself, they're like, hey, I see it now. I see it in this person. I see it in that person. I see it in my colleague. I see it in my boss. So it's very important to highlight that. Do you want to sacrifice your own well being in the pursuit of someone who's no good for you, is only going to bring harm and suffering in your life, but just by being involved in it? It's up to you to make that decision. But if you make it in an informed way. So, having touched on that, you mentioned earlier, you briefly talked about it from going through these challenging experiences and people that you dealt with. What led you to my services? You mentioned that we first met during Ramadan, the Muslim holy month, that you were praying for the right answer. What made you feel that this time when we met that it was different? It wasn't like other people that you've been disappointed by in the past.
Honestly, I was praying a lot at the time, and I was so broken. And I remember my father had passed away. God rest his soul. And I was like, God, I surrender to you. I don't know what to do anymore. I have went through so many people. I'm so alone. I don't know where to turn, where to go. I really need your help. Guide me to someone who works through you, not against you. Because a lot of people who do these types of workings, they work with purely demonic spirits. Okay? We know that.
Mm,
In the realm of magic, there's a lot of sacrifice, and that's okay. Everybody has their own. I'm not judging anybody, okay? At the end of the day, I'm not perfect either, right? So I went to sleep that night, and the next day I was just online, and somehow I came across your page on Etsy, and I decided to just contact you. I remember I contacted you and I had put in an order for spiritual diagnosis. And also, I think we did, from what I can't remember exactly what we did. Did we do I think we did the reading with,
yes, we did a divination with Archangel
we did,
Gabriel review
yes,
on him.
yes, yes, we did.
Mm.
We did. And then I remember the first moment that, like, I know this sounds a little corny, but like the moment I like saw you, I knew there was a light on you.
Subhanallah.
Like, mashallah, there was like a beautiful light on you, and I knew just the way that you were talking to me, like you were honest, and that's what I loved about you, your honesty, your light, and just the person you were. Like, you were not hard on me, you didn't pressure me, you told me everything straightforward, and you knew things about me that, like, a lot of people didn't know, and I think you saw me for me, and you didn't judge
Mm.
me. There wasn't judgment. And a lot of people in this field, in the situation that I was in, which obviously I don't want to open up about because that's my personal life, and
Of course,
everybody
we
has
gotta
their personal matters, and that's okay. But
100%.
in the situation that I was in, you didn't judge me. And that, in that moment, was spoke volumes to me. And then we started slowly doing workings. We did the purge, and you helped me in ways that I could not thank you enough for. And I was very broken, losing my father, and then in the relationship that I was in, and you helped me
God
with
rest his
that,
soul.
and doing like pacts, and we did pacts and we did contracts, and that Allah, everything was working out. Yeah, everything just started to change in a beautiful way, and I was just shocked. It was like miraculous. It was just it's different when like someone says something's going to happen, right? But it's
Yeah,
different when you see it. For me, it's
yeah.
actions speak louder than words, and that's all I can say about you. That's
It touches my heart on so many levels with what you said, from the way that you found me, the way that you pray to God. And believe it or not, this is something that I see all the time, especially when it comes to the purge, especially when it comes to the healing, because really I consider the healing to come from God. And I tell people there are like not only millions, but billions of people suffering, and they get the
yeah,
opportunity to get healed. It's because they asked God for it. It's not like God is going to part the clouds and say, "Here you are healed, and all your problems are solved." This world is subject to the law of cause and effect. He's going to send you someone or give you the knowledge or the tools or whatever the case may be. It works with causality, right? So he's going to make things happen in a way for you to get healed. That's how it happens in this terrestrial realm. And when you say that there was a light, I know that from having spiritual attachments and being under spiritual influence, it opens up your portals. So it's the first time someone has ever said that, but it might be. I cannot say. I don't see it in me in the mirror when I'm looking when I'm looking in the morning, but some people see what they want to see. People see what they want to see in response to their prayers. So I'm guessing you just very intuitively, and then in comparison to everything that you've been through in the past, you're like, this is the answer to my prayer. So now, when we did the purge, this was the first priority because you're like, hey, I'm in this situation. This is what I need help with. I'm like, look, we can do all this work, but if you have some negative attachments, because your family has history with being targeted by magic, negative entities.
Yeah.
So this is something that was a concern from the beginning. And you chose to do the purge. You're like, you know what? I feel that this is something that I need. And again, without any judgment, we just look at the facts, we look at what's going on, we confirm it, and then it's up to you. You choose if you want to do it or not. There was no like, oh, your life is never gonna get better and you're just gonna keep suffering if you don't do this or that. It's hey, balls in your
Yeah.
court, do with it as you please. But I also, because you mentioned earlier, we stayed in touch on a continuous basis. How important was that ongoing support in your case when you're going through the purge, especially in relationships to these experiences? Because you mentioned also a lot of people, you give them the money, they disappear. They're nowhere to be found. They can't be contacted. Sometimes they even block you. And
With them, it's like www.scam.com. It's send me the money and I'm gone.com. But
right,
with you, it's always been that way where it's like you would honestly, I wouldn't even sometimes message you and you would call me or you would message me and check in on me. And this was like constant. This wasn't like, how are you? How's it going? If you have any questions, and you would explain in every detail, like, hey, this is what you need to do on this day. This is what you need to do with this is what you need to do with that. And that to me like shows like how much you actually care about the people that you're helping. And it's like you treat people like family. You don't treat people like your clients. And that's also why I feel like you're such a beautiful soul. And like
I
I see you like
appreciate
my
that.
family. You don't treat people like they're just strangers. And that speaks a lot about your character, I feel as well, because you're not just doing this for your own benefit. You could do that, but you don't. You continue to strive to make people happy and to change their lives in the best way that you can, and that's why God is helping you succeed in what you're doing because you're doing God's work.
There's really no other way, in my opinion, but of course, everyone has their own stand on that. Money is comes and goes. It's only going to take you so far. The relationships that you build with the people that you help,
That's
you
important.
know,
That's
that
everything.
is important, and it compounds. At the end of the day, we're using our relationship that we have built through the years,
Right.
and we're using it to help other people. That help compounds. Money is comes and
Money
goes.
money's nothing. Money's the root cause of all evil.
Look, that's debatable, okay?
Hey, listen,
I'm not
listen,
gonna
hey,
judge money.
hey, reality, look, you need money. Money can get
Exactly.
you far. Money is everything. In reality, it's power, but it also has
It's what you use it for. It's another
right,
tool. If
right,
you are
right.
evil, money is gonna make you more evil. If you're a good person, it is gonna make you a better person.
Yeah.
But I understand coming where you're from, man. all the hardship and all the trials
Right.
and tribulations people have put you through just in the name of money. You're like, yeah, you all this for money? Is that
Yeah.
and you that money didn't mean anything to you. You were just trying to get an improvement. You were just gonna trying to get a change. You were just
I
trying to
think I
better your
think
life
that's
and
why I
yourself.
have so much anger towards it because it's
Yeah, no,
man,
I
like
get it.
okay, like I get it,
All
like
this for
money,
money. All this
right?
for money? Like you guys,
Because I could have done so much good with that money.
I know.
I
Exactly.
could have
Exactly.
helped people in a different way. I could
Yeah.
have helped my family. I could have invested that money in things that would have benefited my future, myself. Like I said, it has driven me into literal insanity to just scrape quarters to get by my day because these people are probably building castles and living their best life. And I think to myself how they sleep at night knowing what they have done to me and my family, and seeing my mom like cry about getting groceries now because she has done
Wow.
everything she can.
Wow.
Yesterday, this actually just happened yesterday. She was crying to me like, you destroyed me because all these people scammed you in the spiritual field and you never learned your lesson, and you
Wow.
my credit cards and this and that, and I can lose the house and I don't have money to buy groceries, like I'm embarrassed to go in public, like this and that, because these people were like taking 6,000 to 10,000 a week. 6 to 10,000 a
Whoa.
week. I'm talking like I have in 1 year, I remember 2022 I spent $150,000
Wow.
sending to, yeah, overseas, to
That's
try to save,
crazy.
just to save my relationship before I met you.
That's crazy.
Or no, not
And
before I met you, like before we like even did anything for the purge, I think.
it see, like when you say figures like that, it can really put things into perspective for people. This is we're not talking about a few $100s here. We're talking about a good salary, you
Yeah,
know?
if we go back throughout the 11 years that I have been doing this, I could at least say probably $1 million have been spent.
Oh my God. Thing that you
Yeah,
did.
like it makes me sick.
So again,
And have I gotten anything that I wanted? No.
so that's why that's I guess that's why you have such a bad view and
Yeah,
perception
I
of
mean,
money.
I am I married? Do I have kids? Do I have a Lamborghini? Am I with the person that I love? No, I'm just sharing my experience for people to understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'm not anywhere
100%.
I want to be. And
100%.
it makes me sad because it's like I was promised all these things, but in reality, did I get any of those things? No.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
They
So I
just made me
understand.
worse and worse. That's all they did.
So this to put that in contrast with everything that we've done. So you said when you did the purge, things started getting better. How did
Yes.
you see that things get better, and what results did you see? The changes you saw in yourself, mentally, emotionally, in your life? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I wasn't able to like work or do anything before that. So then I started being able to work. I was able to attract relationships again. My life at home did get better. What else? My mental health got better. My anxiety reduced. My health got better overall. There was a lot of things that started changing, like my income, certain things like blockages, and overall, I'm just going to say everything got better. Like everything, because I had blockages for everything. You know that.
Mm,
So everything was a disaster prior to that.
mm.
Let's just say everything was wrong. And when I did the purge, everything started to blossom. So when I say like everything, I literally mean from A to Z. I couldn't get out of bed and I am where I am now.
And I think this is something very important. What sets the purge aside from everything and anything else that is done out there is that it can only be from God. It can only be
Yes.
God who can make such a profound change in a way that is truly transformative and impactful that you see it and you're like, wow. Because
Yeah.
me, I work with jinns, I work with angels, I do
Right.
rituals all the time.
Right.
And The jinns, they have certain specialties. We're going to make a mandate. We're going to make an agreement for this to happen, to produce this
Right.
outcome. I cannot just wave a wand or make a one contract or one pact for you and it's going to improve your life from A to Z. That's what
Right.
sets it as different. When we say God, the Almighty Creator, the
Right.
all capable, all these names that He has, you can
Right.
truly appreciate the full weight of that power. And not even then. I don't think we have the ability to appreciate the full power and presence and capability of God. But when we see it in our life, and the way you said it from A to Z, we can see how it's all encompassing. And on the backside of that, people, they really have usually no idea of gauging how much their life is being affected. They're like, oh, I'm having trouble making money, I'm having trouble with relationships, I'm having trouble with my career, this and that, I'm having troubles with my health. But then when we do one treatment and then all these blockages start to get removed, you have to think to yourself, this means that these spirits that were affecting my life actually had a hand in all these issues that I was dealing with. And this is really important. Now, you said that you noticed these results. The purge that you had to do was 28 days because, again, as I said before, there's a history in your family of spiritual affliction. We had to reset everything because just for all the experiences, the 11 years or 10 years before that, we met, that you were involved with all these people, just for that, that was enough to like, hey, let's get rid of
Yeah.
everything. Let's start
Yeah.
fresh here.
Yeah.
How quick would those results, like how quickly did you notice those results? Because usually the anxiety stuff that is mental, it's faster, and then other blockages in your life takes a little bit more time. How much approximately within those 28 days did you start noticing like, hey, things are getting better here?
Honestly, like even throughout. So
Mm,
I can't really give you like an exact day because I think everybody is case dependent.
mm,
I can't say like maybe for somebody it might be the first 3 days when they start the purge. Where for me it
mm.
was like the first week I started noticing because again, I had multiple blockages. So for me, I started at least feeling relief day by day. And then by the time that I finished the purge, things started getting better within the weeks.
I
So
ask that because a lot of people, they're curious. They want to know like how long is it going to take? And obviously, when we get a service for improving any area of our life, even if you go
right.
to a personal trainer to lose weight, you would like to
Right. I mean,
lose 10 pounds the first week.
you're not gonna lose. This is not like
Exactly.
you're gonna do the purge and the first day you're gonna be cured. That's just not
Yeah.
realistic. Let's be realistic here. If you have
Yeah.
magic on you for 10 years and you're doing the purge, don't expect for anybody, even if you're going to do a, let's just say, how are we going to use this term? Islamically, we say ruqya, right? Let's just say in Christianity or Catholicism, we say exorcism.
Mm,
Or for Judaism, I don't know what the word would be, or any clean, let's just say, or we say cleanings or cleansing or
yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
the case
Yeah.
may be.
Yeah.
It might take one, two, three, maybe four, 5 sessions, but you're not going to be okay. Maybe by the grace of God, you could be okay in a minute if He wills it,
Yeah.
but it might take a couple tries, or you
Yeah.
might need to take a salt bath after. You might need to do some things after to basically heal yourself. It's also the healing that comes after.
Mm,
And not to
yeah.
say that your enemies are not going to still try, right?
Yeah.
Because they're still going to try. Now you have to think about protection. You have to think about other aspects that come with this, right? It's not just, oh, I got cleaned once and yeah, I'm good. It doesn't work that way. People need to also put this into perspective. And I don't think
Well,
people understand that.
the purge works every time. It's
Right.
like
Always,
literally the surest,
always.
yeah, it's the surest thing that I provide and that I help people with. But what I tell, the way that I put it to my clients is that, look, this is 28 days. This is the
You
official
have to go
period
through
of
it,
the
right?
treatment. Exactly. So you do
All the
that,
way.
and then you enter what I call the recovery phase because
Yes.
people want their life to be perfect. They want their life to be
It,
normal. And
Right.
it makes no sense that if for 11 years, 10 years, a lot of people who come to me, it's their whole life or ever since they were children.
Yes,
Your life
yes.
is on a downward trend. To reach a satisfactory level, it's not going to
Right.
happen
Right.
in 15 days. Although people, they get, I just had a call with a client of mine, and she's very academically educated. She's well placed. She has a good career. She's and then I could not believe the amount of things that improved over such a short period of time. But again, each person is different.
Right. It's
Absolutely,
case
each
dependent.
person is different. Exactly, for sure. But
Yeah.
it's very important. If this is how things work in the spiritual realm, like our souls are immortal. So it's not you're just going to do something, you get in a
Right.
car, A to B, 5 minutes, and everything happens. We would like it to be, but sadly it's not the reality of this world. Now, you have seen these changes, and you can compare for people, like, what are some red flags here, like warning signs. When a practitioner tells you this or they do this, like the things that people should really look for. I'm sure you have things in mind. If you meet someone new now and they tell you this, you know automatically that they're a scammer. I'm sure you
Right
have
off
a
the
whole
bat,
list.
right off the bat, if they say, I guarantee you a result, run. This is the first sign that they're scamming you. If they say, I guarantee you a result, no matter what, that's another scam. It's a red flag because you cannot guarantee a result. This is just impossible because number one, we don't know how long we're going to live. Number two,
Yeah,
you don't know what your enemies are going to do to break that work, or you might need to redo that work, right?
yeah,
So, like, you don't know, again, 100% guarantee you a result. 100% you're going to get a result in 3 to 7 to 11 to 21 days, this
yeah,
many days. If they tell you the amount of days,
yeah.
that's also false. What else have I noticed is a big red flag? If they also keep telling you a different price, I've noticed that as well. So, for example, if somebody tells you to remove a spell, let's just say, and I've noticed this a lot with people overseas. They'll say, hey, you know what? To remove this black magic, it'll take 21 days. I have to read this for this amount of days. I have to make this sacrifice. And then they ask you for more money. Oh, this happened. These are also red flags. What else is a red flag? I just think if they charge you a hefty amount of money, it's just a red
Mm,
flag. I don't know. These are just things that I've noticed, like false promises, but definitely these guarantees for sure. Unrealistic things for sure.
mm,
Fortune telling, I just don't believe in that. I just don't believe that like they know what's going to happen to you in 30 seconds or what's going to happen to you the next day. I don't believe in any of that. Like, yes, I do believe that there are people who can do readings for sure.
yeah.
There is tarot, there is different things, but like it's very rare to find that.
Yeah, I
These are
mean,
all just red flags that I've come across.
so I think all of these red flags that you say, they can come under the umbrella term of the future, right?
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
going to do something and it's going to work in 7 days and 14 days and it's 21
Right.
days. And they have
Right.
this whole logic and
Right.
this
You're
whole
gonna
story
fly
that,
in 10
yeah.
seconds. Yeah. Come on, man.
And the guarantees at the end of the day, like for example, in my case, I would love to offer people guarantees, but there are no guarantees in life. I don't know, like even tomorrow, I might not be alive, you might not be alive. There are
Right.
literally no guarantees in life. Life is so
Right.
fragile, let alone telling you you're gonna have this and it's gonna be permanent. Now, on my end, when I set up a contract, and my contracts are permanent, and it's this at before all, it is with God. There is a
Right.
divine
Right.
petition,
Right.
and then
Right.
it's set up in the wording that the mandate it is for them to keep working for all of your life. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
but
how
you
it's set up.
show proof though. They never show proof as well. That's something else I've noticed. When I ask for proof of the work, they don't show
Mm,
it. They don't
yeah,
show it.
yeah, so it's because the spirits are very camera shy.
Yeah.
The thing is, and it's funny when you mention proof, someone asked me for proof. I'm like, you literally get the agreement. Like, what more do you want? It's
Right.
like you
That's
have
what
a
I mean.
car.
But they don't like, I'm saying like they'll use like their grandfather's brothers, like sisters' email, like for you to send them money. Where opposed to like you're
Wow.
very straightforward, right? And you'll
Yeah.
email everything when you're done. You'll
Yeah.
explain, you'll let
Yeah.
us know. That's different. But I'm talking like these are all like red flags. Yeah, you know what? You're gonna get a result in like this. And then when you start questioning them, they start threatening you and they start getting aggressive. And then they start,
Mm,
and I don't understand. Like, for example, I actually had I don't want to say debate, or maybe I'll just say argument with one
hmm.
practitioner once where I was like, I said to him, I said, you're taking money from people, right? And you're saying you're going to do this job. So it's like building a house. I'm paying you to build my house and I want this and this and this done, right? And
Yeah.
you're telling me you can do it. So if you're taking the money from me to build this house and you're saying it's going to be this way, why are you not fulfilling what you're telling me you're going to do? It's we're making a contract, right? You're saying
Yeah.
for this amount of money, let's just say for $5,000, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build this and this. Or for whatever you're doing. Oh, then they start saying, I'm not God, like this and that, when the results don't start coming. So then from the beginning, don't take people's money. Don't
Yeah.
manipulate people. If don't do that, then if I'm
I
paying
mean,
you to do a job, fulfill it.
it's what they're doing is not the equivalent of the house because you pay someone to get the house, there are plans and there's a design, right? But they're telling you basically what the color of the furniture is going to be inside the house once it's finished, and they haven't
Right.
even set up a
But it's not,
foundation.
it's not a sandwich shop. I can't, but you can take money from people.
That's really at the end of the day, again, uh, if you're promising work, you gotta have something to show for it. And me, like people,
Exactly.
my clients who speak Arabic, they have no issue. Everything's written in Arabic. There's no mystical, unintelligible
Right.
signs of their occult, amazing, esoteric properties. And some people, they even say, don't open this, you're gonna go blind. It's crazy, like what people say in this field, just out of deception, really, out of
Yeah.
deception, because
Yeah.
like me, you can literally take your contract and read, okay, these are the wishes, this is what's written, these are the clauses, this is how it's going to happen, these are the spirits who are contracted to it. And of course, again, yes, we cannot guarantee that it's going to happen, but we can guarantee that the spirits are there working for it. That we can guarantee. We can guarantee that the work is solid, that it has metaphysical properties, but no one can guarantee an outcome. And this is in any field. This is in any field. This is not just in magic. Anyone, if you go to a lawyer, you're going to say, hey, are you sure we're going to win this? Say, well, I'm going to do my best, but I'm not sure we're going to win. There's a judge, there's a jury. You go to a doctor. Are you sure you're going to help me heal from cancer? Ma'am or sir, we're going to try. But if a doctor tells you, yeah, there's this experimental treatment and you are sure to get healed, because it costs you $50,000 and they have your life on the line, one, two, three, four patients, they're going to get prosecuted for malpractice because in any field, it doesn't make any sense. So I think you really touch on the crux of it, which is the guarantees that people are making about specific outcomes.
Right.
You can guarantee your work. You can guarantee the quality, the effort that you're going to put in, the energy you put in, but you can never, ever guarantee an outcome. Imagine I make you pact for you to be prosperous, and then 1 week later, a hurricane hits your entire city and all your possessions are decimated, right? How can I guarantee that you're going to be prosperous and wealthy and abundant when that happens? That is a force of nature. So think about all these things, guys, when you're trying to shop around or researching about practitioners and things of the sort. And also, they have to be able to show you something for their work, which you said before. They're not willing to show anything. The least you could give me for this exorbitant amount of money is like knowing the security and peace of mind that you didn't go and blow it in the casino. And I'm actually getting something for this. Now, for the people who are listening and they're really unsure. A lot of people about this stuff because of the horror stories, because of stories like yourself, like the stuff that you've been through, although you didn't give up. People who are unsure, they're on the fence, what advice or encouragement would you offer them that, you know what, they can still find help, they can still find solutions to their problems, they can still make their lives better with this field? What encouragement, what advice do you have for those people?
I would definitely say just pray. Pray, take your time. Obviously, not to the point where like you're truly suffering and like you really need help and just sit there. I would honestly go more towards a religious organization, see if they have people that have connections in that way. I'm not saying like those are your best option because even in those situations, you could also get scammed. I know that's messed up to say, but pray, really take your time on your research on who you're going to. Rita just said, because you don't know it these days. You just don't know. Like, it's hard for me to say something solid right now because I don't want to misguide anyone. You really just need to take your time on this and really just know what feels right. And you will. If you really listen to your intuition, you'll know. Like, you have to look out for those signs. Like we said, you have to really pay attention and see, hey, you know what? Is this worth my time? Is this something that could help me? Is this something that's positive for me? Is this going to heal me? Is this going to bring positive results to my life? Is this going to be something that will elevate me spiritually? Don't go towards that darkness, because once you open that door, it's not something you want to open. Because once you're trapped in that, getting out of that is a journey that will take a long time to get out of. And that's if you're lucky, honestly.
So a few points here that I'm getting is listen to your intuition. Like for example, you, when we met, you're like, you know what, I met you and I knew it instantly. That instantly means intuitively, right? There was nothing that I said or that I did or something about me or whatever that you're like, you know what, this is the right person that I should work with, or that I believe that they can help me. The other thing is taking your time, because a lot
Yeah.
of these issues come when we act impulsively, like on the in the heat of the moment. We're emotional and we just want a quick fix, and that's the perfect opportunity. And a lot of scams in all fields again. Like when anyone who's gotten scammed, they cool down a little bit and the scam settled in. They're like, huh, if I just did more research, a little bit more due diligence, or if I just listened to my intuition at that specific point when this person did something or that something and it felt a little bit off, I wouldn't have been scammed. I wouldn't have been led along so long. It is something to keep into mind. And in my opinion, it's sound advice. And also, the best advice that you get is just pray. At the end of the day, like when you met me, you're like, I was praying and I was praying for this specifically. I was a very low point. So pray to God. You know, the answer is not always a practitioner. The answer is not with people, to be honest.
No,
It's not with
no.
spirits. It is with God. God is going to guide you to the right answer. And you just cannot go wrong. It is a sure, safe bet. It is a conservative bet that whatever you're doing, if you keep God in front and center, you're going to be led to the right direction. Yes, you might have a lot of lessons to learn along the way, but you'll end up where you want to be with God's grace and mercy. So, very good advice there, Layla. Thank you so much. And now, in contrast to these 11 years, and when you say that you spent about $1 million, and 1 year alone before we met, maybe $150,000 approximately, and yes, you did spend a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money with me, because I don't know how many contracts I lost count. I don't know how many packs we made. I really did lose count. Usually I have the number in my mind, but I
Right.
think it's upwards of 20 or something like that.
Maybe even
Close,
more, honestly.
maybe even more, right? Around the 30s, because there
Hmm.
was a lot of stuff that we needed to address in your life. Oh, and I know that I'm not charging $20 for a pack. Like I know that, okay? That's a given. And I'm not doing
Right.
spells. I'm doing work that is genuine. And I want to ask you, would you say that the time, the money, energy you invested with me has been worthwhile for you all in all? Like when you consider the contracts, the purge, the packs, how valuable was that for you?
It's like literally the best thing I could have done. And I am looking forward to doing more. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Inshallah.
I can't wait to do more things with you. And I hope and I pray to God that from this interview that people truly look into also doing work with you and the doors open for you, because I genuinely can't thank God enough for your presence and all you have done for me, and just the amazing person that you are. And I hope that everybody gets a chance to meet you and work with you, and the impact that you have given me, I hope that they get that opportunity as well.
Inshallah, I pray that really that Allah gives us that opportunity to touch many people's lives, because I really believe that everyone deserves it. A shot at happiness, a shot at being healthy, a shot at having a better life for themselves, especially when they're suffering for so many years. A lot of people have been robbed of a life and a chance at happiness.
Um,
And unfortunately, even though they've been robbed before, a lot of these people make them destitute. And that's really what we're trying to avoid to people. I really don't care if you work with me or you don't work with me. Is avoiding you a world of trouble, to the point where you might do something that you regret and you can't really blame anyone but yourself. And that becomes a very dark and very distressing, anxiety inducing, stressful place that you're like, oh my God, what did I do? I had a client the other day. I went to this guy, I told him I was suffering. And then $50, $100, $50, $100, $500, $300. He said, I blinked my eyes and I gave him 50,000 pounds.
what?
I don't know how I did it. You
What
know
did
what
you just say?
happened? I said, the
50,000.
guy, 50,000 pounds. Okay, to
Astaghfirullah.
give you an example, this is just something that comes up to my mind. This
Poor soul.
happens. You are not an isolated case. This happens.
Oh no, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it.
And when people, like I told you before, when they turn to this
Wow.
field, it's usually because of a huge issue that they need to get fixed. I had another client the other day, and he's facing some legal issues, and he wanted some assistance with that. And he's just sending money after money, hundreds, thousands of dollars. And then he even showed me the work that they've given him, and it's just a few scribbles on a piece of paper.
Of course it is. Of
There's
course.
nothing spiritual or magical about it whatsoever.
That
But
actually makes me want to cry.
to the untrained eye, I just want to highlight this because you are someone who came forward. You are someone who
Yes.
has the courage to say, you know what, this is my way of standing up to those people. This is my way of helping others, avoiding it, using that negative experience as a positive channel to do something good in the world. Because at the end of the day, what you're doing here, it's good in the world. But I could go on and on. Blackmail, manipulation, where people, they tell you, oh,
Threats.
you want your lover back, give me their phone number. They call them and say she's doing magic on you.
I
You know,
can't
they
believe
break
that.
people's
I
homes.
really find that so hard to believe. Actually, you know what?
There,
I don't want to cut you off, but I'm going to share
yeah,
one more thing now that we're
yes,
speaking about these people.
yes.
There was a point, and I think I did share this with you, and it actually broke me as well. And I wish it didn't, but it did.
Mm,
I had went back and I had contacted a lot of these people on my list of, like, my call log that I
mhm,
had sent
mhm.
money to, just to see if they would even answer the phone to me. A lot of them
Yes.
did, and I wanted to see if they would help me if I didn't send money to them. I
Mm,
just wanted to test them and say, you know what? I'm suffering. Like, I've been thrown out of my house.
yeah,
I lost this person that I love so much, and this is going on, and just playing this whole guilt trip and this guilt
yeah.
card. And I told you about this. And believe it or not, believe it or not, and I was sending thousands of dollars to these people. These are all the people that I sent thousands of dollars, except for that one person that I had the big trouble with.
Yeah.
That's the only person I didn't contact. But other than that, and you know what's so funny? Not one, not
Wow.
one decided to step in and say, you know what? I'm gonna help you.
Wow.
I'm gonna even send you $100 just so you can have food on your table. And it broke me to such a point psychologically, because I was like, when you're one of them actually Their mother was in the hospital, I remember, and they didn't have money for treatment. And this wasn't even for spiritual work. It's just because I cared, because I was naive.
Mm,
I had sent him $4,000 so his mother could get shots because it wasn't covered by insurance, because I cared. And I remember I had the money at the time because me and the person that I was with, we were well off at the time. And yeah, I asked for $100 just to see if he would send me $100 to help me out. And guess what? Oh, Western Union doesn't allow us to send to the United States and this and that. It was just excuse after excuse. And I was like, wow,
it
this
only
is the
allows you to
type of,
receive. It doesn't allow you to
right.
say.
This is the type of people that this world has. These are the type of
Yeah,
scammers. So please, for the viewers, for the listeners, please take our advice. Stay away from these people. They will break you, not spiritually only, physically, mentally, emotionally. I don't know what other way to put it, but I am telling you, these people are heartless, careless. I think I've paid for vacations for some of these people, for education for their kids. Wow. I
it's
feel sick.
incredible.
I feel sick, and I see my mom and my brother and like my family, like they can't make ends meet. Like I have destroyed them.
It's incredible. It's incredible. God is ultimately just, and they're
Um,
gonna get what's coming because I can
I know.
tell
I believe
you,
in karma. I believe in
I
karma for
can
sure.
I can let you in on a secret, okay? These people who, even though for you it was exorbitant amount of money, and I'm sure they had other, we can say quote unquote victims, all that money, for all that money and that wealth they're able to subtract from people, it doesn't stay with them because there's no barakah, there's no blessing. They're always struggling, they always have their own issues. They get
Wow.
it back in their health, they get it back in their children,
Really?
because where is your humanity? You think that they have no conscience, they don't know that what they're doing is wrong? Like you said, you don't know how they sleep at night. The only answer is that they're also under demonic influence, that they are possessed by demons themselves, the same spirits who are pushing them to do the stuff to people to hurt them, the same demons that they're working with to subtract all that money from. Because the way that you describe it is there is no humanity.
Mm,
Someone gives you $4,000 for your mother's treatment. You're not even able to help them with $100 back. You are not human. You have lost your humanity, which can only mean that you are under demonic influence. And for me, it is very clear. It's evident. You cannot miss it because I see this. Again, you, Layla, you have your stories, but I have stories from other people. And it's very sad because people don't come to you when they're at the top. They come to you when they're at the bottom, and you become another problem to them. So everyone gets rewarded justly by God. No one gets missed. It's not because maybe he wanted to give you the $100, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it because, again, that money doesn't stay. When you look at them, all these people, they're all poor. They have no life. Their children are unruly. They have no health. What is all this magic doing for you? Where is it taking you? So maybe some of them might be listening to this interview, and it might just be the wake-up call that they need to do something better with their life, to do better to other people, to be better, just human beings.
I hope so.
Allah, I pray for it. Ameen
Inshallah.
ya Rabb.
I mean,
Now, is there anything top of mind that maybe you wanted to touch on, you want to mention to the listeners? Make sure that they take it with them before we end, because it's been a very deep interview. I think it's very intense and emotionally heavy for people to understand these things. But again, the truth hurts. And
yes,
we have always made it a point on this channel, on the stuff that I produce, the content that I release, that we address the truth. So, do you have a final truth that you want to leave people with so they can take it with them and reflect on it and maybe get something from it?
Honestly, I would just say always strive to seek knowledge, and there's always truth, even in darkness. I think people need to pay attention and really wake up to reality because we do live in a world that is just very difficult to get by, especially now in the times that we're in. And
Mm,
you need to fight for what you believe in. I do think that people need to wake up to reality and not just because, look, there's reality and then there's spirituality, right?
yeah.
We're living in two different dimensions at the end of the day. And I think people need to pray. They need to focus on both aspects. And I just think everybody needs to continue to believe in light and fight for themselves. And just, I hope that this interview touches as many people's lives as it can. And I wish the best for everyone. And I want to thank you, Rita, for having me today. And I do always appreciate our relationship. And I hope that in the future, sooner or later, that we're able to touch on different topics. And I would love to come on again. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's been wonderful and some very wise and kind words there for our listeners. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, things have been getting hard and they only will keep getting harder and harder for every single one of us. When Layla here advises you to seek knowledge, to better yourself, to seek truth, and keep yourself focused towards the light, even when there's darkness, that is the soundest advice that someone can give you from a stranger to another stranger. I can be more grateful for the opportunity to have you on, to share your story, your openness, the way that you said everything like it is, no sugarcoating or making yourself look good in any way or me look good in any way, is just stating the facts and putting things how they are. So once again, Layla, thank you so much for
You're
taking the time
welcome.
to do this interview on my behalf, on the listeners' behalf. I hope that people heed your advice. I hope that they find the benefit and value within. Thank you so much. And I thank God for, again, just this opportunity of us being able to do this. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.